You know how some thoughts feel kind of hazy, while other memories are just crystal clear, like they happened a second ago? Well, we're about to dive into a radical theory that suggests existence isn't just an on or off switch, it's a whole spectrum. Right, let's start with the big one. To be or not to be. We all know it. For centuries, this has been the ultimate question, right? It frames existence as this simple binary choice. You either are or you aren't. Simple. But what if that's the wrong question? What if it's not about being versus not being, but about all the different shades and degrees of being in between? Yeah, that simple on-off switch model feels right, it feels intuitive, but what if it's actually limiting how we understand consciousness, maybe even reality itself? We need a new way to think about this. So let's just toss out that on-off switch for a minute. Instead, I want you to picture a dimmer dial. You know, the kind you have for a light. Things don't just pop on or off. They can fade in, they can glow brightly, they can fade back out. They exist with different levels of intensity. That is the core idea of what we're calling relative being. Now, this dimmer dial idea isn't just a cool metaphor. It's at the heart of a scientific concept called appearance depth. And that's basically the technical term for how far up you've turned the dial on something's reality. Okay, I know, that definition is a real mouthful. Don't worry about it. Let's just break it down. Appearance depth is really just a way to measure how stable something is. How well does a thought or an image hold its shape before it just dissolves? So to make it super simple, think about a random thought that just zips through your head and vanishes. Now compare that to a powerful core memory. That memory has way more appearance depth, right? It's more stable, more present. And the perfect place to see this in action is in our dreams. And speaking of dreams, they're amazing. They're like our own personal laboratory for this stuff. Every single night, we experience this entire spectrum of appearance depth, from absolute nothingness to worlds that feel completely real. Okay, look at this. It's a perfect ladder. Down in the deepest sleep with those slow delta waves, there's nothing, near non-being. But as your brain activity starts to ramp up, moving into REM sleep, look what happens. First, you get fragments, then morphing characters, and finally, in late or lucid REM, you get these stable, coherent dream worlds. It's a direct link between your brain's energy and how real your thoughts feel. So we can see this happening when we sleep. But how? What is the brain actually doing to turn that dimmer dial up and down? Well, the theory says the answer lies in something called neural strain waves. Think of these strain waves like ripples of energy flowing through your brain. They travel along the pathways where your memories are stored, your memory trails. And they're not just simple electrical zaps. They are these complex energy patterns that literally give shape and form to our thoughts. And here's the really cool part. It's all about the shape of these waves. The theory calls it curvature. So a wave with a shallow curve just kind of skims the surface of a memory, and you get a fleeting image. But a wave with a deep, powerful curve, that digs right in, activates the whole memory, and gives you a stable, vivid, coherent image in your mind. This one idea, the curvature of a wave, can explain the whole range of what happens inside our heads. Shallow waves give you those ghostly, unstable dream figures. Medium waves create those bizarre characters that keep morphing. And deep waves, that's when you get coherent people and lasting memories. This model even gives us a way to think about trauma, where a pathologically over-deep wave could be forcing a memory to appear with this horrible intrusive power. So let's bring this all back home. Why does any of this really matter? Because this isn't just some abstract theory about the brain. It's a completely new way to understand your own mind and what you experience every single day. Just think about the people you meet in your own dreams. You've had those ghost-like figures, right? The ones that are barely there. And then you have the ones who are recognizable, but they keep changing. And then there are those dreams with characters that feel so real, so stable, it's like you're actually with them. That stability, that's a direct measure of their appearance depth. So why do certain people show up so vividly? One word, emotion. Emotion is the amplifier. It's the turbo boost for these strain waves. Strong feelings, love, fear, whatever, make it way easier for those waves to dig deep into those specific memory trails. It's why the people we care about the most, for better or worse, tend to be the stars of our dreams. Okay, but here's the real kicker. This whole model, it's not just for when you're asleep. It applies to your entire waking life. A passing daydream has a shallow depth. That focused thinking you do to solve a tough problem, That's a deep appearance. And those incredible aha moments of inspiration, that's an idea emerging with the deepest possible reality. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that consciousness isn't a thing you have or a state you're in. It's a process. It's a constant, dynamic dance of thoughts and images appearing, stabilizing, and then disappearing, all along this continuous spectrum of being. And that leaves us with one last, kind of mind-blowing question. We can pretty easily accept that the people and places in our dreams have a relative existence. But if the very same process is creating our waking thoughts, what does that say about our waking reality? Is it really as solid as it seems, or is it too just a very, very deep point on the spectrum of being?